Hello fellow techers, Space Bandit here with another episode of World of Tanks, and today I bring you Tier 9 American medium tank M46 Patton. Yes guys, I've had this tank for a long time now, a long time, and I've played so many games in this tank, but for whatever reason it's not on my channel very often, and the reason for that, I think, is the fact that I cannot get crazy good games in this tank. I mean, don't get me wrong, I get really good average games in this tank, but I can't get those epic ones, you know. I've had maybe a couple of 6K games in it, but other than that, you know, I hover around between 3 and 4K damage, I would say. In many cases, I do get over 4K damage. I think this is my new E50, believe it or not, because this tank recently has received some love from Wargaming, has gotten some buffs to reload time, and I think even slight aim time buff was there as well. So I don't know, maybe I'll play this tank a little bit more. I mean, I have so many tanks, and you know, I just can't play them all, so I just bounce between them from time to time. And this tank is always nice because when you get into it, first of all, the mobility is absolutely fantastic. Second of all, gun depression is spectacular. I think it has like -8 degrees of gun depression, if I'm not mistaken. The alpha of this gun, it hits pretty hard as well, because you know, I think my average rolls are somewhere in between 350 to 450, I would say. It's a quite wide margin there, but majority of time you're gonna get high 300s, which would be like 380, maybe 400 rolls. So yeah, I mean, the tank has really good gun. The only problem is at long ranges it's kind of a potato, because it's really hard to hit targets. The accuracy suffers a little bit, right? So I'm gonna be showing you a few games today, few games that are above average games that I had in this tank, and I've collected some replays, so some of them are older, some of them are newer, but this one actually is in my still old nickname Rebel MC, which I've changed later on to Space, as you are probably aware of, to kind of more correlate to my channel. And actually this game is on map Berlin, which currently does not exist on World of Tanks. It was taken off for some time. I'm sure it will return at some point in time, but at this point it is not in the rotation. Now this map is actually quite nice map. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Himmelsdorf, except there is no hill. But if you look at the structure between 4 and 0 line, it looks a lot like Himmelsdorf. The only difference is they've added a field on 1 and 2 lanes, and yeah, I mean, this map is relatively good, I think. So I would be happy if it comes back into the rotation at some point. So what we're doing in this tank, and what I like doing in this tank, well, first of all, this tank is not your upfront, in-your-face brawler, because it has no armor. Anything will penetrate it. You know, tier 7 will penetrate it, no problem. Especially, you know, heavy tanks with big alphas like Fatherland, Defender, or IS-3 for sure will penetrate this tank every time without even aiming. So you gotta be really careful how you play it. The only way to play this tank is poke in and out, use its mobility to move in and out like I'm trying to do here, and get you shot off as quickly as possible without too much aiming. It is not the greatest sniper, so mid-range to short-range fighting is probably the best for this vehicle, but yeah, you gotta be really cautious. So the way I play it on city maps, I usually try to support my heavy tanks. So what you see me here is I'm rolling with you know, with big Jagdpanzer here, and also I'm rolling together with IS-7s and those tanks. So make sure they take the hits when they need to, and you poke out and you provide damage when you can, because this alpha does hurt. So you gotta be just cautious not to get hit, because if you get hit, you die. 3 shots and you're dead, especially at tier 10. So you gotta pick your spots here. So as you can see here, I'm moving together with my team. We're trying to move through this field now, and boom, we take out this T28 Proto, and I'm trying to use ridges as much as possible to get my shots off, because like I said, the gun depression is really good. So we're gonna just poke over, put a hit into this E5, and he did not expect it at all at this point in time. Here I'm worried about this E100. He was looking at me, so wiggling my turret, getting out as quickly as possible. Now the game is relatively close still, so we're gonna try to stay a little bit at a distance. We're gonna flank as much as possible. Again, use this tank's mobility. It's fantastic. This tank, look, it gets up to speed really quick. What are we at? 40 kilometers an hour, 45 kilometers an hour. So awesome flanker. But in a second you'll see the way this gun performs sometimes. So you almost fully aim. Look at that. That was 137 meters and I hit the E100's tracks. So that's how bad this gun can be on occasion. So if RNG is good in this tank, you can get awesome games really. But for the most part, I would say 1 out of 3 shells is gonna do this to you. Count on it, trust me. It does happen all the time. So the game is almost over here. We're gonna try to move in for final kills. Now, last 2 tanks remaining, I think one is the Death Star, the other one is T49. So I want nothing to do with the Death Star because I can get one shot here easily, and Death Star is sitting kind of in a pocket. So I decided not to go for him. I let my team worry about him, and I just wanted to get a little bit more damage, so I'm going after this light tank. So we're gonna try to find him, and we're gonna try to finish him off. So yeah, last time he was spotted at A2 somewhere in that area, and here he is. I find him and he's not playing, so I guess he decided to quit early. So a couple of easy shots of damage for me, and we take him out of the game. Oh, and we get a smooch from the Bulldog, and it's a victory. Alright, let's take a look at the end plates. So we managed to make 20,000 credits. Now again, in this tank, because you're gonna have to use APCR, especially at tier 10, you're gonna be using premium shells quite a bit because of the, you know, penetration of standard shells is not the greatest when you're at tier 10, so you're gonna have to be using APCR shells. But yeah, so you won't be making too much credits with this tank. Anyway, finished on top of the team, 3.7k damage, 1561 base XP. Pretty decent game. Alright, let's move on to the next game. So next game, we are on map Steppes, or Steppes, or Steppes, I'm not sure how to pronounce that. We're the top tier. It's pretty decent matchmaking. There are no artilleries, and on this map artilleries are extremely difficult. But if there are no artilleries, we can play a little bit more up front and not worry about getting hit. So what we need to do here is find a little bit of cover, and we're gonna try to find these guys coming across so we can again we're gonna try to get some early damage here. So there is a nice position here at F2, I believe, somewhere over here. Yes, this bush in front of me, and we're gonna try to sit in front of that bush and see if we can spot any customers. Now we do have a light tank going across there, so basically he's gonna take away all of the spots from us, but that's not a problem because he's gonna make his round and he's gonna come off. He didn't spot anything anyway. So yeah, early in the game, again, we have no armor. We're gonna play it a bit passive. We're gonna get ourselves in a position where we can take a few shots here and there. We see this STA-1. We're gonna try to put a shell into him, but he's just barely visible over the ridge, so we have no shot at him. Now we notice this Patriot, and he's just sitting in no man's land, and that's what this gun can do sometimes. Unfortunately, it hits the guy in the track. He's still sitting there though. Gonna try to put another shell into him, but again, we missed that shot. So you can see 460 meters. The accuracy of this gun, not the greatest. So here we get spotted, so all we're gonna do is drop behind that rock. That's why this spot is pretty good, especially early game. And you can usually catch the guys that are coming down, what is it, K2 area, J2 area, somewhere in there. So you can get shots across to that position, and on occasion there are tanks coming through that spot. So here again we're spotted. We're gonna try to lose 6 cents, and we're not gonna move anywhere yet. We're gonna try to work this position. We're just gonna shift further behind the bush to see if we still get spotted if we shoot. And looks like we're not getting spotted, so we're gonna probably keep this position for a bit. Again, I poked out behind the bush there, so that's why I get spotted by the light tank. So here we see this Gornish. We're gonna try the turret shot, or I was thinking Capola shot. But again, this gun accuracy, and in this game, the gun trolls me a lot. Here we put a shell into him for 374. That's a pretty decent roll. Quite average roll, I would say, not decent, actually. Again, at this point in time, we're not going to do much. We're going to try to work this position. This Gornish took quite a bit of damage. We're going to try to take him out of the game, but our shell dips. And we hit his track, unfortunately, and he gets taken out. So we get a little bit of tracking damage there, but not too much. So I'm sitting here waiting for good opportunities still, but at the same time I'm looking at the map and see what is going on. And as you can see right now on zero line, looks like there is no opposition there at all. No one has moved there. So our heavy tank is already at zero line, and I've noticed that now. So what I will try to do is I will actually, well, first thing I was thinking to go all the way across to 9 and 0 lines and fight from there. But it seems like a long way, right? So I'm not gonna do that. So I'm telling these guys, just pop up a little bit higher. I want to see who's up there. If there aren't too many tanks and Reds are low in numbers there, what we can try to do is we're gonna try to cut across the middle and maybe outflank him through the middle. So we could see there's only a Leopard there so far. That's all we can see. There's another heavy tank. Oh, another heavy tank was spotted. It was the Patriot. So there are only 2 tanks to worry about, so we can easily take him out. So if I can scoot through the middle and I'm not spotted here, that means there's no one in the middle at this point in time, which is a valuable piece of information. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to come closer, get behind that bush here, see if I have any shots at this Patriot. Unfortunately I don't, but again I'm not spotted again, so I'm gonna move forward a little bit more. So that way, like I said, we're gonna try to flank these guys that are in the H6, H7 area, right? So that was the thinking here, and I know for a fact there's no one in the middle because, like I said, I wasn't spotted. So I could easily just creep up this ridge here. I do worry a little bit about this tank on the right hand side, the medium tank there, but at this point I just want to take a shot at this Patriot, take him out of the game. And I know that Leopard is going to target me. He's going to be dropping soon. He's going to target me, and yeah, he hits me auto aim on the move, unfortunately, but it is what it is. So we know now that there's no one on the left hand side. So we can focus at these guys on the right. So we know their enemy team, the entire enemy team, is in that small sector in the bottom left corner of the map. So what we're gonna try to do, and we devastate this guy. We ammo rack him. We take him out of the game just like that. Yeah, so we know that they're on this corner of the map. All of them are in this corner of the map. So we're gonna try to take advantage. And again, we're gonna work the ridge here. Take whatever opportunities we have. We put a hit on the C75. Very nice roll. 440. Beautiful roll. I wish this tank would be getting rolls like that all the time, but unfortunately that's not the case. So the game should be winnable, guys, right? I mean, we have these guys in the corner. They're pretty much isolated. It should be easy peasy, correct? Well, you know, there's still top tier heavy tanks on their team, so there's still a lot to worry about. So I don't want to be just rushing in just like that and exposing myself. I still want to just kind of poke out and take shots of damage like this. Just quick poke, quick shot. There's my revenge shot on this guy. But I actually aimed and he didn't. So I'm still worried about him poking from around the corner there, but he gets taken out. So we're going to try to concentrate fire on this T-34. We tried top plate from this angle, but unfortunately it goes high into his turret and he manages to penetrate us. That was a big hit. Unfortunately, I've overexposed a little bit there, but it is what it is. Here, unfortunately, my controller kind of moves out of the way a little bit and I hit his track. But we managed to get some, I think, tracking damage from this shot. Or maybe not. Well, I guess we're not. So, what do we do now? So these guys turtled up down there in a corner, and they're still top tier heavy tanks there, like 2 E75s. There's a Wheezy, tier 9 Wheezy heavy tank there as well. So I do not want to go at them from this side. Again, like, it wouldn't be a good decision. The best decision at this point in time is to take the high ground, take the top portion of the map, go in the middle, and flank him from the middle. I'm taking a completely different route. I'm going to try to flank him. So basically what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to encourage my team to move up, because they're not moving and they're trying to fight these heavily armored vehicles frontally, which is not optimal. And with heavy armored vehicles like E75s and Wheezy, it's really difficult to face them frontally because it's a tough fight. So as you can see, like, we're dying one by one. So I had to make this move. I still have quite a few hit points left. I'm gonna try to go in here and create chaos. Try to hit their behind and auto aim in their backs and bounce like a noob. And yeah, this does happen. I do auto aim too much, but guys, normally when you count on a shot to hit, when you auto aim it, it's usually back of the tank. I was actually hoping that these shots would hit, but they didn't. Now, second shot on the Wheezy, I hit the barrel of the dead tank. That could only happen to me. That could only happen to me. Anyway, but we take this E75 out of the game, or my team does. We were trying to. Again, we stir enough shit so that our tanks can move in for the kills, and that's exactly what was my thinking here. I want to stir up the crap so that these guys are paying attention to me. They're not paying attention to my team. And here, I'm just trying to get extra bit of damage. And now I know that this guy is gonna die, so we're gonna move in for the kill, but he rotates, he turns into us, so we ended up tracking him at the end and we get the tracking damage. Again, not the greatest game, guys, but I do like games like that because they're a lot more tactical, and I do not get a lot of damage sometimes in those games because, you know, it just turns out that way. But I think these games are awesome because they're tactically sound, and I have to think in a game what to do, where to reposition, how to approach the enemy. So these are the things to think about, right? So it's not always about damage. To me, it's more about, for me, the fun is the tactical thinking and, you know, where to find myself on a map, how to approach certain situations, so on and so forth. But pretty decent game. We got 1517 base XP, 3.4k damage, and last game of the evening is on map Murowanka in winter. It's a tier 10 battle, but only 2 tier 10s per team, and mostly tier 9s and few tier 8s, although the opposing team has a lot more tier 9s than we do. We have 4 tier 8s. So now on this map, guys, the most important area for me anyway is always right side of the map here, which is F8, E8. That position there is the most critical. It is the most critical area of the map. I know a lot of brawling happens at F1, sorry, F2 or E2, somewhere around there, but for medium tanks it is critical, absolutely critical, to win this side of the map. And I will show you why later on in the game. And as you can see, the opposing team has completely neglected this side of the map. And if you notice, especially in the team destruction mode, it seems like the team likes to keep together, because for majority of time you might have better outcome at the end of the game when you all decide to stay together in this game mode. However, not on every map, guys. Not on every map. And some maps are maybe better for this kind of gameplay. Maybe something like Himmelsdorf. When you have team destruction, maybe it's better to stick together because it's a small map. Something like Ghost Town maybe also is better because it's a small map. But on a big map like this one, like Murowanka, Prokhorovka, where you can get outflanked, where light tanks can basically remain unspotted and put shells into you from, and you don't even know where from. You have to pay attention to that. But on this map, doesn't matter what game mode it is, this position is the most important. Because if you control this area, you will control basically the entire map. Because once you win this side of the map, you can easily climb up the ridge at 3 line at some point later in the game, like what I'm gonna do here. I'm just gonna move forward because I could see that basically there is no one here, so I can easily maneuver around this side of the map and basically get flanking shots into these guys. So right now I'm just kind of sitting here, I'm looking for shots, I'm waiting to see if anybody pokes over the ridge, but looks like the entire enemy team is in that little pocket at F2 or E2. And they're basically, you know, it's really hard to push for them right now because there are tank destroyers in H1. So that's the difficult part. Also, we have 2 artilleries. So in this situation, although our artilleries are not sitting in a good position, probably better position for them would be probably K2, K1, somewhere in there. But regardless, these guys made a big mistake because they didn't pay attention to the field. So we're gonna try to get in here, use our gun depression and clean up. And we see this T-30 and we put a shell into him, but it bounces his side. Now we bounce his bottom plate. How beautiful it is. That's what I said, guys. The penetration on this gun is not the greatest. I can't remember the value on it, but I find myself using APCR shells quite a lot on this tank. And here we missed the artillery shot, which is quite incredible what this gun can do sometimes. Outrated 6 out of 10 on a potato scale. So I was getting sort of frustrated here at this point in time. I was like, come on, gun, like just work with me, just work with me, you know. And if the gun actually worked with me here, I would have gotten a lot more damage than I did in this game. Anyway, we see this waffle, we're gonna put a shell into him. And we're gonna keep working this ridge now. Now, I see this T-57 heavy, but at this point I don't care about him coming in. I think we have a chieftain on this side, so I'm gonna disengage for a little bit. I'm gonna try to take a look if I can get some shots on the left side. And I do see this Conqueror there, and he's gonna try to go through the middle. So I'm gonna get his side. And easy shots for me here, and you can see that's still old model of the Conqueror. This is one of the older games as well. So yeah, I've had these games sitting for a while on my PC. I'm not sure why I haven't posted them. I just realized that I have them and I decided to put them up. Why not? Show off M46. Especially now that M48 is such a good machine. And you're gonna go through this tank, it's gonna be fun. Definitely fun going through M46 up to M48. So this Wheezy is not paying attention to me at all. He's paying attention to the chieftain, so you know, I get easy shots onto him, so be it. I'll take advantage of it. We'll put as many shells as we can. Boom, we take him out of the game. Only 1 tank left now with the tank destroyer. And he's gonna die anytime now. I don't think I'm gonna get to that kill. And there it goes. And that's why the field on this map is so important, guys. Like I said, it's so important. It's very important. Don't neglect it, ever. If you're in a medium tank, go there. But if your team is not going there at all, then you're screwed. Then you're pretty much screwed. You can't go there on your own. You have to have at least 3 or 4 tanks, I would say, to go there. I mean, 3 is minimum. If it's just 2, I wouldn't go there. Anyway, we finished first on the team. 4.3k damage, almost 4.4k damage, 1.5 base XP. We fired 19 shells, direct hits 17, penetrations 13. Pretty decent game. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed these replays. It just gives you a perspective on how to play this tank, and playing this tank is extremely enjoyable. I would recommend it, guys. It's my go-to tank now that E50 has been nerfed so badly. So who knows, maybe you'll see more of this tank on my channel sometime soon. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed these replays. Check out the guys in the description, CloneGuy72 and Garadingi. They have fantastic channels, they're very good players, so go check them out. Until next time, happy tanking, Space Bandit checking out.